Hello, chismosas y chismosos, and welcome back to Bay Area Housewife of True Crime, where I like to tell the stories of the real cucuys and lloronas of the world. We are at part 3 of the Oklahoma City bombing. As a reminder, topics may be triggering. Viewer and listener discretion is strongly advised. The people mentioned are innocent until proven guilty in court. On the day of the bombing, Timmy was dressed for the occasion. The front of his t-shirt he wore said "Sic Semper Tyrannis," which means "thus ever to tyrants." This was supposedly said by Brutus when he killed Julius Caesar, and John Wilkes Booth shouted the saying after he killed Abraham Lincoln. The back of the shirt had a tree with blood dripping from the branches, and it read, "The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants." I looked up what tyrant meant, and it is defined as a cruel and oppressive ruler. Timmy also carried an envelope that had pages of his most favorite book in the entire world, the Turner Diaries. On the day of the bombing, April 19th of 1995, Timmy arrived at OKC at 8:50 a.m. At 8:57 a.m., Terry drove the Ryder truck towards the Alfred Murrah building. At the same time, Timmy lit the 5-minute fuse, followed by the lighting of the 2-minute fuse 3 minutes later. Then, Timmy parked the Ryder truck full of explosives in the drop-off zone in front of the Alfred Murrah building located under the building's daycare center. He made sure to wear earplugs to protect himself from the sound of the blast and skedaddled off to his getaway car. Some call what happened next divine intervention. Some, like myself included, call it really good police work. 75 miles away in the town of Perry, Oklahoma, 90 minutes after the explosion, as fate would have it, Officer Charlie Hanger pulled Timothy over for driving his Mercury Marquis without license plates. He told the cop that pulled him over that his gun was loaded, to which Officer Hanger responded with, "So is mine." When asked what was up with not having any license plates, Timmy told the Oklahoma State Trooper that he had just purchased the vehicle, which was also the reason Timmy did not have proof of insurance, registration, nor the bill of sale. Officer Hanger got permission to search the car and only found a baseball cap, some tools, and a plain white envelope. The address on Timmy's driver's license was Terry's family's farm in Decker, Michigan. He was arrested on 4 misdemeanor charges: unlawfully transporting a loaded firearm in a motor vehicle, failing to display a current license plate, and failing to maintain proof of insurance. He was scheduled to be arraigned on those charges on Friday, May 21st. It did not take long for authorities to catch up with Timmy. He used his real name to rent out his room at a motel in Junction City, Kansas, but used a fake name of Robert Kling to rent the bomb truck, and then he ordered Chinese food under his fake name to be delivered to his motel room. He also kept the September 30th, 1994 receipt for his first purchase of fertilizer used to make the bomb he ultimately executed on April 19th of 1995. The bombing happened on a Wednesday, and by Friday, people were shouting "baby killer" outside of the federal courthouse where Timothy was being arraigned. When Timmy heard about the commotion, I'm sure he knew was coming, he asked for a bulletproof vest. The day Timothy was arraigned, around 200 miles away in Harrington, Kansas, 40-year-old Terry Lynn drove his car with an American and Proud sticker in the rear window to the local police station for questioning. The Alfred P. Murrah building was built in 1977 with 9 stories and was named after a federal judge. It was the home to 14 federal agencies like the DEA, ATF, SSA, and recruiting offices for the Army's for the Army and the Marines. There was also a daycare center on the second floor. The parents of the kids at the daycare center were employees of various companies and buildings in the surrounding areas, like a court bailiff who, after she returned to work after having her first son, decided to place him at the Alfred P. Murrah building because it was close to her job and she could spend time with her baby during her lunch hour. When Timmy was reflecting about the deaths and victims of the bombing, he said, and I quote, "I think about the people as if they were stormtroopers in Star Wars. They may be individually innocent, but they are guilty because they work for the evil empire." Unquote. The trial for these American terrorists started on April 24th of 1997. Timmy was represented by criminal defense attorneys Stephen Jones and Robert Nye. The federal prosecutor in the matter was Joseph Hartzler, and Judge Robert Matsch decided Terry Lynn and Timmy have separate trials. The trials were moved from Oklahoma to Colorado. Michael and Lori Fortier were charged as accomplices. They testified that they shared their beliefs with Terry Nichols and Timothy McVeigh in their hatred towards the U.S. government for the management of the 1992 Ruby Ridge raid and the 1993 Waco standoff. Lori Fortier testified that she laminated a fake driver's license for Timmy, the one with the name Robert Kling that he used to rent the Ryder truck. After 3 days of deliberation, the jury convicted Timmy of all of the 11 counts of his federal indictment, and he was sentenced to death by lethal injection. Timmy insisted his death be televised so that he could keep giving that main character energy until the very end, but his request was denied. Timothy McVeigh was executed by lethal injection on June 11, 2001. His death row meal was 2 pints of mint chocolate chip ice cream. On May 27th of 1998, for having knowledge of the bombings and failing to alert the authorities, Michael Fortier was sentenced to 12 years in prison. He was released in 2006 and placed in the Witness Protection Program. Mira, ves, uno nunca sabe. For his part, Terry Nichols is now 70-ish and serving his 161 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole at the Supermax Penitentiary in Florence, Colorado. As of this recording, Terry Lynn has denied any interviews and has been, quote, uncooperative since his arrest and subsequent sentencing, unquote. We reached the end of today's episode of Bay Area Housewife of True Crime. Thank you so much for coming down the rabbit hole where I currently live. Stay tuned for the next episode on the next case. Make sure to follow me on all socials. You can find me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and of course TikTok. If you like my content, do me a solid and rate my show wherever you listen. As always, I accept and respect your opinions. I welcome all comments, questions, case suggestions, etc. Call me, beat me at yayareahousewife@gmail.com. I'll see you chismosas y chismosos in the next. Adios.